Welcome to the Wisdom. What's up, y'all?
Hey,
we're back once again.
Yes.
Doing what we do here at the Wisdom Bar.
That's right. Yes, and we are so excited, but we are also sad at the same time. Like, oh my gosh, we are here.
Yeah, but we're sad, ladies and gentlemen, because this is, believe it or not, the final episode of the season.
Oh
we made it. We made it.
It is our season finale. Oh my goodness, man. Well, welcome. If this is your first time joining the Wisdom Bar, welcome. I am Joy, and this is the host.
I am DJ Double M of One Star DJ.
Yes.
What's going on, y'all?
Yes, and we are so excited. We have an amazing show today. You want to give them a little? You want to give a
little synopsis? All right, y'all. This is going to be a show that's going to be focused on something that all of us here in the studio has a passion for, and that is for music. Well, this month, as a lot of people may or may not know, this is Black Music Appreciation Month.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is something that was started in 1979, believe it or not, by former President Jimmy Carter. Did a little bit of research on that. It's funny because I didn't know about this until, once again, the media don't put stuff out there like they should. Because it's associated with us. I didn't find out about it until 1982.
Wow. I didn't
but
find
this
out
is
2024.
You should be ashamed
of yourself.
But in celebration of Black Music Month, and this is the month that I've always been passionate about. Everyone knows, anybody who knows me knows that music has always been my first passion. So in celebration of this, guys, we have brought together not one, not two, but 3 DJs. And not only are they great DJs, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but once again, we're going to be in the realm of focusing on visual impairment and how we have not allowed it to determine who we are. We go out and do what we do, and we are the best at it. So, without further ado, let's bring the gentleman on.
Let's bring him in.
All right, from Greensboro, North Carolina, natively from NJ, we got DJ MIXMASH. How are you, bro?
Incoming phone call. Metro access. 5%.
DJ MIXMASH, where you at? Is he there? He went to the back. I don't know what happened. We got DJ Carl.
DJ Carl, where you at, man?
I'm here. I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
Where you from?
There you go, MIXMASH.
MIXMASH, where you at?
Hold on. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you,
bro.
We can hear you.
I appreciate the shout, but it's Raleigh. I'm not in Greensboro, but I do have people in Greensboro that I know.
Okay. My correction.
So big up to everybody out there.
You good? He in Raleigh. He in the city. He said, "Let's."
Yeah, but thank y'all once again for having us up here, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. DJ CASTRAWDIS, where are you from? You're from Boston, out of the Boston area?
Yeah, I'm in Boston, man. Born and raised here somehow, some way.
Nice. Well, it's definitely a pleasure to have you guys on there, man. Great, much love, and appreciate you donating the time to give Let Stars talk about your journey, and that's where we're gonna start from, man.
We happy to be here, man.
Yeah, thank you. I know we three of us talked about this on our first conversation, man, that lasted about what, 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
So so why don't the three of us talk about our journey and how we got into the art of DJing? Which one of you guys want to go first? I'm gonna go last.
I'll let the legend go first. I'll let
here we go. Here we go. The real legend, anyway. Okay. So it's a 2-part story, I believe. Now, my mother told me when I was a baby, she took me home and she put classical music on for me. And then from there, I had gotten into the sound of classical. And then from there, my mother started playing like jazz music. And then from there, and I'm sorry if I'm going all over the place, but I eventually learned, before I even did this music thing, the DJing thing, I learned how to play the piano. And
okay.
One of the very first songs I played was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You're a kid starting out. And then one of the songs that blew my father's mind that I played was, if any of y'all ever seen the movie Sister Act, I don't know if you know the song Oh Maria.
Yeah.
And from there afterwards, I did the piano for a bit. Now the music part comes into play. If any of y'all that are listening / watching this have kids that are within me and CASTRAWDIS' age bracket, we all grew up on Barney. So my father would be in the car, and there would be moments where he would have on Barney cassettes for me, and he was tired of hearing "I love you, you love me." Where he was tired of hearing that, tired of hearing Sesame Street and all the other things that was out at the time. I was a PBS kid. I wasn't really messing with any other program other than PBS. Anyway, my dad was like, "Let's put on something different." And this was during the time when, you had like tape decks in the car, like the cassette players in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a Ford Explorer. And one time he put on a tape of Cool DJ Red Alert. And if you don't know who Red Alert is, that he is one of the founding fathers in hip hop, one of the first to play hip hop on the radio. And what intrigued me about Red Alert, as well as Funkmaster Flex on those tapes, and there were other guys, but those were the two main influences. But what influenced me was the way Red and Flex were cutting and scratching the records and that energy they brought to the microphone. I mean, you had people like Mr. Magic and you had people like Chuck Chilla. I'm talking New York names. Those guys were influential, but when you had people like Red Alert, you had people like Mr. Magic and like Funkmaster Flex. Those were the guys that really got me into it. And then from there, fast forward, I'm like 5 years old at this point when I'm hearing these tapes. As I'm hearing the mixing and the blending, as I get older, I'm like, I want to know what they're doing and figure out what they're doing. So at the age of 9, I asked my parents. Now, keep in mind, mom and dad, they're divorced. So I asked them both if I could, DJ. Like, I wanted to be a DJ. My mom said, sure. My father was like, look, as long as you keep your grades up, then, you can do whatever you want. So I kept my grades up, and I started out with 2 Gemini turntables. And then from there, I worked my way up to, now keep in mind that the Geminis were at my mother's house. And then at my father's, I had myself a pair of Denon DNS 1200 CDJ turntables. And then I worked my way up from there to, at my dad's, the Denon DNS 3900s. And then I did, and now I'm on my Pioneer CDJ 2000s, which I bought with me from New Jersey down to North Carolina. And then I also have a pair of Technique 1200 turntables. So, and I've been DJing as of this point for 17 years.
All right. Whew. Amazing story, man.
It was a lot. I know,
I'm gonna come down there and snatch some techniques, man.
Hey, look, man. Hey, I got you. You look. There's a lot in there in this room you'd want to snatch. I got some 1200s and as far as black music goes, it's important that we highlight the black artists that paved the way for the black music of today. So that's why I'm honored that I have on my vinyl here with me. I have on my family's vinyl. I have my records that I bought. I'm just honored that I have a huge collection as it is.
So all right. So Carl, you want to go next? I want to ask you guys both questions, but I'm gonna let Carl tell his story.
Yeah, let the legend tell his story.
Yo, man, what up, man? Some guy named CASTRAWDIS, Boston, Mass. Man, where do I even begin, man? All right. Well, my father was a DJ, and but I mean, even before that, like music was always ran in my family. So, luckily for me, I think I kind of was just born into a musically inclined family, which is dope. My godfather he's into, you want to talk about black music and real black music. He's into stuff with melodies and harmonies and choruses and whatnot. So we talking Blue Magic, the Delphonics, like the Four Tops. We're
Oh,
talking
man.
all of the classic
Yeah,
super,
the classic R&B groups,
super
man.
classic. So we ain't talking no new stuff. We ain't talking none of that. No. And then my pops, he was a huge Barry Whitehead. He loved Barry White, and so that happened. Um, my mom, she is an R&B head. She loved her Gladys Knight. Funkadelic and Parliament and Zap and Vaughn Masons and stuff like that, man. So I got a little bit of you know something to contribute. But I've been DJing since damn 01, 02 maybe. So about 20 and some change. Um Done parties, I've done mixtapes, I have done radio. I was the first actual blind and visually impaired DJ to bring a live / pre-recorded mix show to a radio platform here in Boston. But we're not going to talk about that. But
Yes, we
I
are.
love.
Yes, we are.
um, and then I think it's just safe to say, man, like my love of music, black music especially is strong. Period.
I'm envious of both of you guys because both of you guys have had the opportunity to do something that I haven't done yet, and I'm surprised MIXMASH hasn't mentioned that. Man, both of you guys have done radio.
Well, for me, Mash and I can relate. Like he said, when you growing up and you are a kid and you're listening to the red alerts, the Kid Capri's, the flexes when he was trying to flex, on the radio, then it was reasonable, and it was like, okay, this is what radio sounds like. Now, for me, in my case, I can be on both sides of the aisle a little bit because I was both in the radio and the mixtapes. And what I mean by mixtapes is the mixtape where the DJ was actually getting busy, and CDs and cassette tapes. So we had a little bit of that. And some of the Boston DJs are some of my inspiration, for getting this far.
Mhm. Well, that's great, man. It's an amazing story from both of you guys, and you know, it, as you guys are telling your stories, I've realized that we have a lot. We have a lot of stuff in common in
Yep.
our past and how it relates to music and how we came into it and realizing that it was such an integral part of our lives. You know, because we're in our 20s, 30s, and a little older. You know, back in the day, we were coming up. You know, when you woke up in the morning, you woke up to the radio being on. You went to school with the radio being on.
Right.
Nowadays, kids wake up with the TVs being on or their phones being on.
Right.
But
Right.
when we came up, man, we knew the radio personalities by name. We knew when
Right.
they, you know what I'm saying? We knew them by name. We knew when they came on. Yeah,
Right.
It was
we
it
had
was
our
like it was like clockwork. You had to know when they came
real, man.
on.
Get up.
It was like it was like work. You had to, if you was taping it, you had to make sure you had your tape on hand.
Then
It was real.
if you had a different type of tape, you had to put the little paper at the top.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Hey,
Tape
I
on.
got a couple of those tapes.
Put some masking tape. What you know about that, to me?
I got a couple of them tapes. Hey, look, shoot. I'll go even further. If you get a bunch of tape, I'll go even further. If you get a bunch of cassettes that you don't like, you tape over their stuff
Yep.
with your stuff.
Yep.
I got some of them joints too.
Yeah,
Get up.
absolutely. I
Miss
got in trouble
Tamika's
for
showing her
nothing
age
else.
today.
Those are the ones that you put the paper in because they're already copyrighted.
And if that
I
joke
take the tabs out my tape. I got tapes where I take the tabs out my tape so no one can tape over them.
yep.
So I still got mine.
Yo, man, and if that thing popped, you took it to somebody who knew how to splice it.
Yep. I need to get a couple of mine spliced. Oh man.
Yeah, young. You get somebody in their 20s, man, with their teens and hear this show. They don't know what are they talking about, tapes.
Well, a few folks in their 20s don't hey now. A few folks in their 20s know, but a lot of folks, hey.
Yeah. But hey, when I say about we guys had a lot of things in common, I found out that music was my passion. I guess when I was about maybe 3 or 4, because I also come from a musician's background, and the first instrument I actually learned how to play when I was about 3 or 4 was the drums.
Okay.
And my mother was fortunate that she didn't when I got around a drum set, I wasn't one of those kids that just banged on it, made a whole bunch of noise. I was actually born with one of my music teachers called natural rhythm. And I asked him to explain that. He said, look at it this way. Have you ever been around someone that can listen to a song, go to the piano and play it? I said, yeah. He said, that's a person who has perfect pitch. He says, okay, since you're able to listen to a song, pick up the drum pattern, go to a set of drums and play it as if you knew it all along, you have what's known as perfect rhythm. So I started out with drums. Then I went to another rhythmic guitar. My mom gave me a guitar when I was maybe about 9 or 10 for Christmas. And I never really could master playing the guitar in its usual form. I would just play the bass line on a 6-string guitar. So that's another thing I realized I could pick up. I could also listen to a song, and by the end of the song, I know the bass line.
Nice.
So that I was always into music. I played drums when I was in junior high school. I played drums in the band. When I got to high school, I wanted to play in the band, But the teacher at that time didn't know, the band instructor didn't know at that time how to accommodate a visually impaired musician. So I went to my backup plan. Um, Also, when I was young, I started singing, and I had a natural talent for singing. I can listen to a song maybe a couple of times, and by the end of the song, I know the words, I know the melody, I knew
It-
everything there was know about that song. So when
It's
I
interesting
so in
because
high school, I started singing in the choir, and
uh
it was funny that, well, one of the guys, we were in a rehearsal for a Christmas play when I was in my sophomore year of high school, and I used to sing with the male chorus, but we also had a musical theater group, and we got together and did a Christmas play. But the day before that Christmas play, we was all expressing our feelings. The guy says, "Hey y'all," he said, "Look, John just embarrassed us all." He said, "You tell me that he's not talented. He can come in here in one week and learn 5 songs, and we've been struggling with these songs ever since September." He said, "When we come back for Christmas vacation, we better have our act together."
Wow.
But fast forward I got into DJing because when I was coming up, this was before the mixtape idea. We They used to have DJs spinning a lot of hip hop and a lot of R&B, like at like 12 o'clock at night on Fridays and Saturdays. I know HUR was doing it. At that time, we had WWDJY. It used to be WOOK. And we had another station at that time, WDCU, which is now C-SPAN Radio. But that used to be UDC station. Okay, so you had 3 colleges here that had a station. Of course, you had WAMU, which is still in existence. You had UDC had their own station, and of course, HUR is associated with Howard. So these guys used to play a lot of hip hop music, Friday, Saturday afternoon into the night, and I'm like, man, this joint is dope. And that's where we heard the Heavy D's and the Dana Danes and the Erg B and Rakims. And a lot of these stations will also play popular music, popular pop music, because at that time you could listen to WKYS, you could hear something by Heavy D, and the next thing you know, they're throwing on some Huey Lewis in the News. So it wasn't necessarily black stations, quote unquote, black radio stations, and quote unquote, white radio stations. A lot of them were playing everything. So we got exposed to a lot. So, but my introduction into DJing, that was the precursor, but the actual genesis was when I went to a party in 1989, and there was a guy there named Sylvester Fears, still around, Slow Roll Fears. I believe he's still hooked up with Scooter Magruder, and Slow Roll was doing it old style, 2 turntables and a mixer, and the guy was in a wheelchair. First time I ever saw that, I'm like, man, this guy is amazing. And we hooked up, started talking, and I said, Slow Roll, I want to do what you're doing. And he started giving me tips, telling me what type of mixer I would need. He told me that's when I first learned about Technique 1200s. And we just had a great conversation about the art, about music. And a couple of years later, I started doing it as a hobby. And I think I got an old Gemini 4-channel mixer out of a pawn shop one day. And I had going into that a little Sony CD player, and I think an Akai tape deck. And that's how I started.
Shout out to everybody who got a tape deck or two still to this very day.
And so I was doing that for a while, and I got discouraged with it and quit. And then in 2000, I started working in customer service, and I did that for about 18 years. Fast forward to, I think, 2008, I had gotten my first computer, my first used computer. And that's when I started. At that time, Walmart had a website when they were selling digital music. And iTunes was really not even popular then. I think iTunes had just begun to take off. So it was Walmart, and the big boys on the block were Walmart and Amazon. Well, for some reason, Walmart took their music site down. And then that's when iTunes started becoming more popular. So you had Amazon selling digital music, and you had iTunes. Well, I was buying music from both of them. And after a while, I had, about so many, probably about maybe 2,000 tracks from either one. And I decided, hey, you know what? I want to go back into DJing. But I wanted to do CDs. So at that time, that's when I also discovered eBay. So I went on eBay, started looking up used DJ equipment, and I ended up getting a used, I don't know if you guys remember this one, but a used Denon 1800 dual CD player.
Oh man.
That was a CD player where you had the base that you put the CDs in, and you had the head that you had to connect to it, and that's where your controls were. You had I'm like, okay, now I got a CD player that has pitch control. All right, I'm bad now.
Right.
And I think I had a 4-channel Pile mixer. Later on, I stepped up to a 2-channel Newmark mixer. So I worked with that, learned how to use that. Did my first did CDs. I had 2. What did I have? I had so many CDs. I had like those CD Bibles, those hard body CD Bibles. I had 2 of those, and each one held about 400 CDs. So I took those and did my first gig, I think, in 2010 for a Christmas party. Went very well. I did it for my NFB local chapter for our holiday celebration, and it went quite well. And the next month when we had our chapter meeting, and the president thanked me for DJing the Christmas party. It went over so well that everybody gave this great horrendous cheer. So I was definitely ecstatic about doing that one. But what I found out about CDs, they're cumbersome, because I found out that when somebody walk up to you and they give you a request, come on, you got about 400 CDs. You got to shuffle through all those CDs, and hopefully you find the song that they're looking for.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm like, no, I got to find something that would be a little more efficient. So that's when I did. Oh, what happened? I think I was watching something on YouTube, and it had to do with controllers. Now I never heard of a DJ controller before then, but I stumbled upon this YouTube, and they were at this electronics show in California, and they were spotlighting algorithms software called DJ. And DJ was a software that you could put it on your phone, you could put it on your iPad. You could At that time they only had one for your phone and your iPad, and that was your that was your DJ software. It wasn't very expensive as Serato and Virtual DJ. But what blew me away was that it was fully accessible for people who were visually impaired. You could put it on your iPhone. It integrated with VoiceOver, and I bought it. Well, the first version was free, so I downloaded that first version, got my first controller, and I was just blown away. I studied it. I was able to learn it. I was able to mix my songs. Um, I started beat mixing, and I did my first real public gig back in 2011 at a craft feast, and that was my first experience of playing in front of the public, playing in front of the people I didn't know. Again, I enjoyed it, went over well until I found out something about my equipment. I had to be. We was under a tent, but I was sitting on the side where I was being exposed to the sun. And I'm sitting there, I'm rocking the crowd, I'm doing my thing. My iPad is heating up. And next thing I know, I hear, your iPad has exceeded its temperature. It will cut off in 5 minutes until it's cooled down. Music cuts off. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So I told the people, I said, look, I got a technical difficulty, y'all. I got to let my iPad cool down. It's got too hot. I can't do nothing until it does. So my daughter happened to be there today. She said, Daddy, she says, why don't we move you to the other side of the tent where it's shade? I said, oh, okay. So I'm unhooking everything, moving everything to the other side of the tent, set up, and that cool air, God must decide to send some cool air my way. The iPad got cooled down. I was able to start up and finish out my gig. So that's when I realized, hey, if I got to do something outside, I got to make sure I'm not sitting in the sun. But man, that was from 2012. Started in 2010, so now it's 2024. I've been doing this going on 14 years, and you know, I've gotten discouraged with it. Decided I was going to quit, and that's when the Lord stepped in and introduced me to Tamika, and that was His way of telling me, "No, you're not quitting it. This is what I gave you the talent to do. This is your gift. This is how you're going to share it with people." And that's my story. You know. Are you guys there?
I'm here, brother.
Okay. So here's a question I want to ask you guys, especially you, Matthew, since you do have a lot of vinyl, and that's a great thing to have. How do you guys feel about the comeback that vinyl has been making for the last 6 or 7 years?
I think he's on mute.
Hello?
I think he's on mute. Yeah, he's muted.
He's muted.
I think so.
Okay.
I guess I'll answer the question. I guess. I love it. Me personally, I love it. I think that um as far as like when you go to actually practice,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing like that physical essence of knowing that you have a physical copy of a. Um, there's nothing like knowing you can actually go, hey, not only do I have one copy, I got two copies of this, so I can practice on.
Okay.
You know,
I know for me, man, I miss, I bought vinyl. I think I bought my my first piece of vinyl when I was like 13 years old. And I was telling Matthew this. We were talking about some of the artists that we grew up with. I told him the first LP I bought was by this guy in New York. New York at that time. 16. He was a 16-year-old R&B / jazz musician, and a lot of guys have sampled his music.
Still here.
Okay.
Yes, technical difficulties. Sorry about that.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was trying to answer the question, but was Kaz finished answering the question about the comeback of vinyl? How he feels?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Um,
no, I'm
and
all
sorry,
set, bro. I'm all
I'm
set. Go ahead.
currently I'm currently in transportation. I'm currently en route right now. But
Okay.
to answer your question on how I feel about the comeback of vinyl, I feel like it's it's good, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people, especially the 45 thing, I know that's like what a lot of DJs do, but
Mm-hmm.
the 45, it I think it's good, but like it's also overrated, and I think a lot of people don't focus on the 12 inches per se. They don't focus on the bigger records. The 45s is what most people's passion is for, and I don't knock that. That's what you do, but that's like I grew up playing like the big albums, the 12 inches. I never spun on 45s until I started spinning again, because there was one point where I was discouraged about me being blind, and I got rid of my records, and then I started recollecting again, and that's when I started doing the whole 45 business.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Um, I personally feel that 45s are underrated. I feel that like a lot of things you can't get on a 12 inch, you can probably get them on a 45. But
Mm-hmm.
then again, there's a lot of alternate versions on 45 too.
Right.
So it depends on, I think, the type of genre somebody would be
Yeah.
into,
Yeah.
and
I
you know,
like from the radio aspect. I also think that the 45s are a little underrated because if you go back in music history, and I discovered this myself. You know, a lot of songs became hits because they were on the B side of a 45.
That's true.
You know, and if it hadn't been for the DJ, if it hadn't been for that radio DJ flipping that 45 over and playing that B side song, there's a lot of there's a lot of artists out there, all the way back to the early rock and roll days, who would not have household names, because because of these 45s that the DJs were playing.
That's true.
And I remember my first experience with 45. My mom had a big old stack of them. I don't know what happened to them, but I just sat down one album one day, got the record player, man, and just played all those 45s and just discovered stuff in that I've never heard of. I'm like, whoa, where did this come from? Like
I have I have
a song.
I have all my family's 45s.
Oh man.
Even though I think they're overrated, I have an appreciation for 45s, but I still have them.
I mean, I was playing the Stevie Wonder 45, and on one song on one song he was his version of "We Could Work It Out," and I flipped it over, played the B side, and heard a song that was never played on the radio. And the song was called "I Never Dreamed You Leaving Summer." That song was never played on the radio. If
Wow.
if I hadn't put that 45 over there, I would have never known about it.
Wow.
So, all right, Tamika, we're going to bring you into this conversation as well. We're not going to leave you out.
Listen,
I know you grew up with vinyl.
Yeah, I did. And it was definitely a great thing. I loved it. I loved it. I loved, I would get a kick out of my dad, having me go and put the needle, on the record, and I just loved it. It was something of an experience,
Yeah.
Put that needle, put that needle right on there, and you take it and put it in different places, different songs.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what I would say. I would say what probably most of you guys, all you guys can relate to this. The one thing that vinyl had over CD was that you go to a record store, you buy a piece of vinyl, brand new. You break that seal and take that piece of vinyl out. It had a smell to it, man,
Wow, oh
that you could not be duplicated, man.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Man, I'm like, if they could put that smell in an oil or a candle, I would buy them all day, man.
play the record.
Ain't nothing like vinyl with a good smell to it. A lot of my
Man,
vinyl from my family still smells like a lot of the vinyl still smells like my mother's house that I had before I moved down here, and a lot of the vinyl. Oh Lord, I hope it ain't raining. Um, smells like the smell from my father's house too.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yep. That was some good times. Definitely. Great times.
So, Tamika, you have any questions for us?
I do.
Okay.
I was gonna ask. Well, anyone could take this if far as you saying you started off young. Was there a time, in school that you kind of were known as the DJ?
I'm gonna go. I think when I was in school, like they knew me as a DJ, but they didn't understand what I was doing because
Mm-hmm.
at the time, when I was in school, I was playing music that was way beyond my bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So they were happy for me that I was like making tapes, and they took my tapes just to support. But I felt like the people that really knew me and really supported what I was doing was outside of school
Okay.
and was more so in like, because I used to go to get my hair cut up at the barber shop near my father's house. Those dudes would get my mixes every week when I would release. Here's how it would work. I was so into the radio facet of things. I would like when I would go to my father's house, I would make a mix every Friday night, like I was on the radio, make copies that Saturday morning, and give it out to people. So it was like clockwork.
Nice. Nice. Absolutely. How about you? I think you put it on pause. Oh, there you go.
I'm sorry. Back
No.
here, back here muted. So for me, man, I think brother Mash already pointed it out. And when you're young and you're a kid and you started out young, the people know you. They know what you want to do based off of what they ask you. Like, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? So I think people knew I wanted to be a DJ, and again, just like Mash, I was making tapes and I was giving them to people who really call themselves supporting me. Actually, true story. When I was in middle school, um, I, you had the school resource officers. They would be there to make sure everything goes well. And so one day, um, one of the officers walks up to me and he's like, "Yo, I hear you the DJ." I'm like, I guess, yeah, I guess. And we're talking like 2005, 2006, and I was only like 4 or 5 years in. And he's like, I want a tape. I want my tape. And every time I see him, okay, yeah, I got you. And long story short, he would ask me about that tape every single day. Hey, yo, tape, tape. And when I graduated and I moved on to bigger and better things, because that was what was happening. I recently seen him about maybe like 2016. I was DJing a basketball game, and he walked up to me. He was like, "Oh, you still doing this, huh?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You know what I'm about to ask you, right?" I said, "No, what?" He said, "You got my tape?" I'm like, "Man, you been asking me for that same tape for the last 20 years, man." But I told him, I was like, "Yo, like, I got you. I got you. I will give you something." And I haven't seen him since. I haven't seen him since. But that just goes to show you that the strangers will support you more than the own people that know you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I think we both can attest to that as well. Well, for me, um, when I was in school, people just knew me. They just knew that music was my passion, and at that time, I always wanted to be a performer. That's why I thought the direction I was going to go in as far as music is concerned, because I was singing, I was playing instruments, but as far as collecting music, that's all I did. Um, when I saw slow roll working with turntables, that's when I got that was that was my moment of inspiration. That's when I decided, hey, this is really where I want to go, because that was about 3 years after I spent a summer working with DC ensemble, and that was an eye opener to me, because I've never worked with a theater group, never knew what goes on behind the stage, never knew how much rehearsing had to be done. We're talking 6, 7, 8 hours of rehearsal to use like maybe a 2 to 3 hour performance, and I got so frustrated with it. I mean, tempers flared. You you had to deal with people who didn't like you. You may not have liked them.
Of course, that's just how the business goes, man. You know, that's how it
You
goes.
know, you had to deal with people who was smiling at you at the beginning of the rehearsal, but they mad as hell at you at the end. So
Yep.
I would say, I'm like, nah, and by the time we got to the day that we were to the week that we were actually doing a performance in front of people, I was like, you know what? I'm ready for this week to be over, man. I'm ready to walk off the stage and be done with this.
Yep.
So
I,
that's
I
not
I know all about that. Trust me,
that's
I
when I
get it.
decided, man. Nah, I don't want to. I don't want to do. I do not want to be a performer.
Hmm.
No, I'm not doing that. And and plus, I didn't like dancing. I didn't like dancing in front of people anyway. That's the one thing I'm very conscious about. Believe it or not, I will not dance in public.
I get it, man. I
You
get it.
want you want me to go somewhere and get on the floor and dance? You better wait till I had about 3 or 4 drinks. That's the only way I'm getting on that floor.
So basically, what he's saying.
Get a couple drinks in them. That's what he's saying.
But again, going back to what guys talk about. I've been doing this, and my family. When I told my family I was a DJ, they was like, "Yeah, okay," and I thought they were being so non-supportive. But my cousin said, "John," she said, "We've known you all your life. We've known that your thing is music. Anybody that knows you knows it. So we're really not surprised that you have gone into this art and decided to become a DJ. We were just," he said, "we kind of knew it was going to happen. We were just waiting for you to do it." But it's been a tough road. It's a lot of times it, it's been discouraging. Then sometimes it's been a great pleasure. And I think we all gone down. I think we all experienced a situation where sometimes our most support comes outside the family circle or outside of our family and friends. But hey, you know, um, I remember something that somebody told me who's another business leader. They said you can never make a profit off of your family and friends. You got to go outside that circle. So that's what I've been doing, and and believe it or not, you guys, for 2024, I've got more business this year than I've got any other year since the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So, you guys, let me ask you something. Let me ask you this: do you think the way music has changed over the last 20 years is a good thing, or do you wish it would go back to the way it was, or you think that's forever gone?
We lost mix. We lost mix Matt.
All right.
Yeah. There you
I'm
go.
I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I guess it
Okay.
was a dark zone because yeah, we hear. Yeah, we're gonna have to ask it
Okay.
again.
Hey, Carl.
Yes.
Do you think the music has? Did you think the change in music that has happened over the last 10 to 20 years is a good thing, or you wish it is go back to where it was, or you think that that art and that style of actually creating music with musicians is a bygone thing?
I definitely think it's a lost art. Truly and honestly, if you ask me where my heart is at, my heart will always be with them classics and throwbacks because there's nothing like it. You know what I'm saying? That was when that was when music was music. You
Yeah.
know, when especially to us as the DJs, like when we know that breakdown is coming. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, what? Because we know,
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
um, or you guys know, and the music changing at least for today. I don't. It's become more clubbish than it is unity based, if you will. Um, like there's nothing wrong with playing a good couple of club records every now and again, but even like the classics and throwbacks, like they had their club records, but those club records were a lot different than what they are today. Um, I mean, just all over the place, man. So I definitely wish that it could go back to what it was.
Mhm. I would have to say I agree, Cass. Um, I think what has happened, I've said this before on a lot of Facebook page where they talk about music. I say when we were coming up in the days where you had to bring musicians into the studio,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have your house to what's the word I'm looking for, to accessorize the house band.
Yep.
Okay, you wanted strings in your song, you had to bring in a string orchestra. You wanted
Yep.
horns, you had to bring those horn players. And so we came up in a time where music was created and appreciated for the art form that it has been. Now that we got everybody sampling the classic artists, which I got no problem with because the early hip hop generation did it, but I think they did it in a very clever fashion. Um, Nowadays, it seems like the music is not being created; it's being more manufactured.
That's
It's lacking, it's lacking style, it's lacking personality, and we won't even talk about lyrics. Oh my God!
can y'all hear me, or am I muted
Yeah,
still?
we can hear you.
Okay, because this thing keeps going in and out. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi as I'm going through. Now, what was the question you were going to ask? Because I had to restart everything. What was that question you asked?
The question
I
was,
came in.
do you think the music over the last 20 years has the way it has changed? Do you think it's a good thing? And do you think it will go back to the way it was, or do you think how music was done, like in the 70s and the 80s and 90s, is a bygone thing?
I'm gonna be straight honest with you. Music. It's funny because I was thinking about this a couple of days ago.
Hmm.
I can remember back in 2012. I was
Go
about
ahead, Legend.
15
Tell
at the
that
time.
story.
Here you go. I remember back in 2012 when I was 15, and I didn't appreciate the music back then. Even further, like 2011, 2010, 2009. I didn't appreciate the music back then. But looking into the music nowadays, I have a more deep appreciation for the music that I came up with as a kid. Now, obviously, music has definitely changed over
Hmm.
the years. Now, I'm not going to say for the better or for the worse because people have different opinions on what is better and what is worse.
Uh-huh.
But what I will say is I, the music nowadays that I hear, it makes me appreciate what my parents were listening to back then, even more so. Because I
Word.
remember even before I started this whole music thing, and when we started the beginning of this interview, and I was saying how I was listening to people like Red Alert and them. Before that, when my mother would have on like the Patti LaBelle's and the Gladys Knights and everything, I would be like,
Mm-hmm.
"What? What is this?" I was like, "What is this crap?" Like I didn't understand it. I appreciated the music because of the hip hop aspect. From then, I started going to the R&B records, and like even like, and I know John and Tamika started out in your neck of the woods, like hearing like the Quiet Storm, like hearing that made me appreciate the R&B and what was laid down for the contributions. So,
Mm-hmm.
One
of the things that share a little stuff to y'all about my personal life. My stepdaughter, she came up in the 80s and the 90s, so she was definitely into the hip hop and the R&B of her time. But it's funny that when we talk about music, she's also very well versed in the music that I and her mom and her grandparents came up with,
and that's important.
and a lot of times, when I come across stuff that I have downloaded, and I shared with her. I said, like I played a song by who was it? Oh my God, it was Body Heat by Quincy Jones. And I played it for her. I said, check this out. Listen to the beginning of this song. And she said, I said, who sampled that? And she listened to it. She said, isn't that Pass Me By Far Side? I said, you got it. Or I played something else by her, something else by Quincy Jones and Valerie Simpson, Summer in the City, or no, it was Body Heat was I'm sorry, Summer in the City was the song that
Yeah,
started.
Summer in the City was sampled by The Far Side.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say
yeah.
that.
But Body Heat was the song that Tupac sampled. We recorded How Do You Want It?
Yes.
So
Yes, one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
And it's funny. I was even surprised when I was going through some of the music I have. I played this old tune by Emotion and never heard this song before until I downloaded it. It was called Blind Alley. And I listened to it and I'm like, oh, that's what Big Daddy Kane sampled when he recorded Ain't No Half Stepping.
Man, I feel like a lot of
And
the
I don't know if
go ahead, bro.
no, I was gonna say I don't know if you know this, but Ease on Down the Road was also sampled in Ain't No Half Steppin' too by the Wiz.
Oh,
By
really?
who did Ease on Down the Road? Who did that? Ease on down the road. Who did that?
That was Michael Jackson.
Yes. But Mr. C, God rest his soul, he was
Rest
cut
in
when he was
peace.
like, when he did Ain't No Half Steppin', it was like all the road. That was Ease on Down the Road by the
Really?
Jacksons.
Oh man,
And a lot of people didn't know that.
yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. The early hip hop generations, they were so creative and
Yeah,
so clever with
yeah,
sampling.
yeah.
They would have like 3 or 4 different samples in one song.
In one, right.
You're talking "Ease on Down the Road" by Michael Jackson. You're talking about the bass
Heat
line
Wave.
from Blind Alley, and then you got the chorus from that song by Heatwave.
And also Billy Squire, Big Beat. Because remember, Mr. C was cutting Billy, get on, get on. Yeah, he was cutting that Billy Squire record
Oh,
too.
at the end, towards the very end.
Yes.
Oh man,
Bro, I forgot all about that part, yo.
same here, man. Same here.
Yes.
So even in today's standard, even when I listen to today's hip hop, I'm not knocking it. I'm just not. I just don't. I'm just not into it. I really don't feel it. But when I go back and listen to the pioneers, man, it makes me so appreciative of what they were doing, how they did it, and just the creativity that went into it, man. They were you can tell they were hungry, man. They were hungry. They were putting this music out, get it out there so the people can realize what it was, and of course, it was truly an underground music, because what I didn't know until I saw this document, that a lot of this stuff was being played in like basement clubs that were in the in the Queens, and abandoned buildings in the basement.
Word.
So it was truly being played underground in its literal sense.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the music that's coming out today, man, I'm gonna knock it because personally, it's all microwavable, and it's just like you put it in, and 2 minutes later you got a song. You put it in, 3 minutes later you got a hit, and all of a sudden the whole world is supposed to be singing that hit. But where were you when Big Daddy Kane was out? Where was you when or even for most of us, like when we were coming up, some of us were kids then. Where were you? We didn't know no future. There wasn't no future back then. And if there was, he didn't start coming into the game until about like 13 even. So he's just getting here.
Mm-hmm.
But there's cats that like these people that call themselves rappers, and we have more rap music now than we do hip hop music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Straight up.
And another thing, Kaz, there I don't even know how many people are aware, even older people, because of the media and other entities. Rap is so closely associated with hip hop, and a lot of people, I think they're one and the same. But if you
Right.
go back and study, again, we're going back to music history. Rap was out long before hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Long before hip hop. So what is rap? Basically, rap is just spoken words to a rhythmic beat.
Right.
You want to talk about you want to talk about rap, you got to go back to James Brown, 1968, when he
Right.
did Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud.
Right.
Classic version of rap.
Straight up.
You got to go back to some of the country songs with Johnny Cash. Charlie's Daniel, The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's rap. You got to go back to Pete McMahon
People.
with Here Comes the Judge. That's rap.
Right. People often get rap and hip hop misconstrued
Mm-hmm.
so much, and it's kind of annoying because I'm like, yo, if you think these new cats that's coming out today, like, listen here, I don't care what nobody's saying. I'm gonna start calling out names because you make me want to call out names, Double M. You make me want to call out some names, yo. Like, I'm gonna be honest, Megan Thee Stallion is not hip hop. That's rap. Um, um, it's like the City Girls. That's not hip hop. That's rap. Um, um, Who else, man? Like, Cardi B. That's rap. Um, Trina. I can't necessarily say if Trina's rap because she ain't really consistent like that. But Little Kim could get a pass. You know why? Because Little Kim is she was down in the hip hop era. Number one. Number two, she was also there during that time. You know what I'm saying? She don't talk about it as much, but she was there. Salt and Pepper, that's hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Kim is hip hop. Um, Queen Latifah, that's hip hop. MC Light, that's hip hop. Super hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But these young girls that's coming out today and they call themselves trying to rap and trying to put themselves to a beat. Uncle James is looking at every last one of those musicians right now and being like, what in the entire hell's going on over here? Because this ain't funky enough.
Yeah, man, it was amazing, man. And even when you talk about rap, you mentioned one of my favorite groups when I was coming up, Parliament's Funkadelic.
Mm-hmm.
Another example of rapping, you know. That's a situation where you had rap and funk
In
combined.
the same breath, right? Funky rap.
So I encourage people who's watching this program to go back, man. Go take it all the way back. Examine our music history. Learn the roots of what we have now, because
Yeah, you
it
got
goes
to.
it goes further back than some of the guys I mentioned. Rap has been out ever since like the 40s and the 50s.
Right.
You know, we just came upon the hip hop, with the Sugar Hill Gang and Rappers Delight. But we didn't know at that time that this was something that was going on in New York ever since 1973. We've never heard of Cool Herc.
Right.
We never heard of DJ Taz.
Right.
The originator of that style of wordplay and wordsmith that Sugar Hill Gang was doing. We At that time we thought they created something. No, go back in the history, check your facts. They stole that material from DJ Taz.
Anybody watching and listening to this, man, listen, I encourage everybody to go do your homework.
Yep.
Do your homework. You got to do your homework. It's important. If you want to be a successful DJ, or any successful person with a title,
Do
make
your
sure you
homework.
do your homework.
Know your music. Know your music.
Yep.
And if you do anything, respect and recognize those who paved the way.
Right.
Well,
we came. We just about an hour and 15 minutes.
Yep.
You guys.
Yep.
Mika, you got a question?
We need to get the last. Where can we find you guys?
Where can we find you guys?
On social media.
Hey man, I'll promote my man because he's on the road right now. But you can find him. Since he's a legendary, everything is DJ MIXMASH. I think Instagram is the real DJ MIXMASH. Twitter is DJ MIXMASH 97. And I believe that's that. And then
I'm here, y'all.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry. So just to put, I'm over here getting some records right now, so I had to call my man and let him know I'm here. But like Cass said, and he's funny because he's the real legend over here. But y'all can find me on Instagram at the real DJ MIXMASH at TheReal DJ MIXMASH. Hit me up on Twitter at DJ MIXMASH and the number 97. And then Facebook is the real DJ MIXMASH. Facebook is one word, and Instagram is Instagram is one word, and Facebook is spaced out. And I apologize, guys, for the buffering in and out of audio. I guess I'm just going through bad areas, but I'm going to actually excuse myself because I am here.
All right.
We're here?
Yeah, we are getting ready to wrap up. So that's what we're asking for your
Would you mind walking me up to the
handle.
right here,
thank you so much. We appreciate you so much.
Hey, how are you? Cool. And thank you guys very much. I appreciate y'all.
You're so welcome. Take care.
Oh, well, I'm doing the inner. I know. Well, I'm about to wrap up, y'all, and I'm about to.
Right.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Smash. Take care, man.
Thank
you. We'll be talking to you.
And,
thank you. Okay, you have a good one.
All right.
As for me, man, you can find me wherever, man. Just everything is hashtag DJ CASTRAWDIS.
Okay.
All right.
DJ CASTRAWDIS. That's where you can find me. My Mixcloud. I just dropped a mixtape a couple months ago.
All right, man.
You know, I'm still relevant, but I'm trying to lay back and be easy.
All right, man. Well, you all can definitely find me, DJ Double M. You can find me on Instagram at DJ Double M or underscore DJ Double M. You can find me on Facebook at Facebook.com, One Star DJ. And most recently, you can find me you can look at some of my videos on YouTube. That's going to be youtube.com at DJ underscore double M. And last but not least, you can get a much greater taste of what I do on Mixcloud. That is mixcloud.com/capital J, capital Boogie, and the number 66.
Love it, love it, love it.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks you guys for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, man.
It's been amazing. This is all I thought it would be, and then some. In a bag of.
Hey, if you guys,
the whole meal, the combo.
You know what I mean? If you guys want to, wants to come back for a round two, I'd be willing to do that. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere I can get in and fit in, I would love to support, and any way to get my story out there.
Most definitely. We would love to have you come back for sure.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, final season is done. Yeah, I think we should give ourselves an applause.
Yes. And real quick, before you guys, next week, we will be actually having our Jubilee Day.
Yes, sir.
Where Double M will be doing his thing, old school mix. And DJ Cash will be doing a new school mix, and then DJ Stress and QA will be there. But here we are, it's Jubilee Day celebration, June 15th. Host Treasure Joy, host Sherelle Rowe. As you see, Double M, DJ Cash, DJ Stress, DJ QA from the Three Phase Entertainment. It is sponsored by Stars Performing Arts. Victor Supervisor Angry for the APSCO Supervisor, and the Lions Club, the Oxon Hill Shining Stars Lions Club, will be hosting and sponsoring this event for the community. We'll have the Infernal Dance with so many other performers and poetry. We'll have some Zumba. We're going to have some meditation, some yoga, some games, contests, speakers, giveaways, kid activities. It's going down at 14090 Gemini Way. That's the Farmers Market parking lot in Dale City. We're still looking for volunteers to come out. So if you are interested in being a part of this, we'll have a fashion show as well. You can email jubileedayva@gmail.com. Yes. So we got that coming, and hopefully by that time we'll be in our next season where we'll be actually having our bully walk. So save the date. October 19th is our 7th annual bully walk. We'll be walking over the Woodrow Wilson Bridge.
All right.
Yes. So save the date. You can go to Facebook at Stars Anti-Bully Walk and join to participate, be a part of. Get your group together. We're doing teams this year, so we're trying to see who could bring out the more people with teams this year. And afterwards, we'll be having a DMV's Got Talent showcase for those with disabilities. So, by the time we get back into our next season, this stuff will be partaken. Again, Stars is all about just shining through adversity, reaching success. I am Tamika Joy.
I am DJ Double M.
And
the Wisdom Bar is now closed. Y'all take care. God bless, and have a wonderful and safe summer.
Yes. Thank you again, Castradas.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right. Peace and blessings.
I'm coming back for season 2. I'm coming back, so make sure y'all book me.
Yes,
coming back. because we got more to talk about.
Yes.
Oh, you
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. Well, man, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for coming on.
Salute.
Take care.
Take care.